Hello, welcome to this video. So I read the book Atomic Habits by James Clear last month, and I wanted to do a video basically on like 10 ways to actually achieve what you want to achieve in 2021 based off of what I read from Atomic Habits. So the book Atomic Habits, it's essentially about the idea that if you make small improvements to your everyday life, they all build onto each other, and in the long run, they have the effect of completely changing and transforming your life. And you don't need to like make like this huge grand change to transform your life. If you get a little bit better every single day, in the long run, that's how you can actually change your life. So the first way is don't underestimate the power of making small improvements every day. So in the book, James Clear, he mentions that if you get 1% better at doing something every single day, in 1 year, you'll get 37% better at doing whatever it was that you wanted to do. And it also has the opposite effect. Like if you can get 1% worse at doing something and then end up worse off that year. And like when you make small changes, like in your everyday life, it may seem insignificant, but the small habits, they all accumulate onto each other, and the impact of doing that like consistently for months can have a huge impact in a year. And personally, like until I read this book, I used to think that one like beautiful summer sunny day I was gonna like wake up with this endless amount of motivation, and that's how I was gonna transform my life. Like I was always just like waiting for like this sudden feeling of motivation, and that's when I was gonna like take action to like change my life or whatever. But in the book, he was talking about how it's actually from the small improvements that you make every single day that add up to you having like your breakthrough moment. Like breakthrough moments come after putting in like months and years of hard work. Okay, so the next way is creating systems rather than goals. So like a goal is like the result that you want to achieve. Like say like in 3 months I want to lose 30 pounds. That's like a goal, versus a system is the process that leads to you achieving a goal. So like I'm going to maybe stop eating processed foods and go to the gym 4 times a week, and in the process I will lose 30 pounds, but I will also continue with these good habits. And like the fault of being goal oriented is like after you achieve that goal, sometimes you can lose the motivation to sustain the habits that allowed you to achieve the goal, versus if you have a system in place, even when you achieve that goal, you continue the process that you've already established. Okay, so the next way is having identity-based habits instead of outcome-based habits. So similar to like being goal-oriented, an outcome-based habit is focused on the results, whereas identity-based habits are basically the judgments that you have about yourself and your self-image, and focusing on who you want to become. And it's really important to have identity-based habits over outcome-based habits, because according to the book, like the ultimate form of intrinsic motivation is when a habit becomes a part of your identity. So like for example, if you consider yourself to be a disciplined person, there are certain things that you won't do or you will do because you are a disciplined person. So like maybe like I wake up at 6 a.m. every single day because I am a disciplined person, and I don't stay up late, for example, because I am a disciplined person. Like the habits that you identify with essentially become your identity. And there was this quote from the book that I really liked, which was, every action you take is a vote for the type of person you wish to become. The more that you do a particular habit, the more that you reinforce the identity associated with that habit. And it's so true, because like if you think about it, like the more that you do a particular habit, that's kind of like how you identify yourself. So for example, like I have a huge sweet tooth because I have a habit of just like snacking on a lot of just sweet snacks. So like that's kind of like an identity that I have associated with myself for a long time, is that I have a sweet tooth because I have a habit of just like snacking uncontrollably with like a lot of just sweet snacks. So the next way is making your current habits obvious, and you can do this by using the point and call system. So essentially like you force yourself to become more conscious of your bad habits by saying out loud exactly what you're going to do and the consequences. And like when you do this, it just makes it feel so much more real, because it's like you're saying out loud the consequences that are gonna arise after you do whatever it is you want to do. So like I actually tried doing this, and it honestly did work. Like when I'm about to eat something that's like very unhealthy, like say I'm about to like snack on some Oreos, I'll like say out loud, so I'm going to eat these Oreos, and like 20 minutes after I eat this, I'm gonna feel very, very bad and regret eating them. And it's honestly such a good way to prevent yourself from doing bad habits, because you just become so much more conscious of what you're doing, and like you don't allow yourself to like mindlessly just like fall into a bad habit. Okay, so the next way is to have a specific plan for when you're going to do the new habit. So like instead of just saying like, I'm gonna go to the gym tomorrow, like be specific, like tomorrow at 3 p.m. after work, I'm gonna go to the gym. Sometimes I find that like if I don't get specific about like when and where I'm gonna do something, so like even like filming YouTube videos, like if I'm not specific on the time that I'm gonna do it, then it just like never happens because I'm just like waiting to be inspired or motivated. When like the habit I want to do is that specific, it's so much easier to follow through because you don't wait to feel motivated or inspired. You just like do the next step. So the next way is this concept called habit stacking, and it's basically the idea that you like stack your habits onto each other, and basically like you add the new habit that you want to do right after a current habit that you currently do. So like for example, like say you want to start meditating every morning, so like you find something that you do, like you currently do every morning. So for example, you brush your teeth every morning, so tomorrow after I brush my teeth, I'm going to meditate for 5 minutes. That's like how you habit stack. Okay, so the next way is curating your environment to be conducive to whatever habit you want to instill. This is really important because if you think about it, a lot of the things that we do in our everyday life, it's the result of like choosing the most obvious option. So for example, like if you go to your kitchen, you're gonna eat like whatever is available. Like even if you want to, I don't know, like even if you're trying to eat healthy, you're gonna choose whatever is available. So it's important to have an environment that is conducive to whatever habit you're trying to incorporate into your life. And in the book, James Clear, he brought up this perspective of self-control that I've never heard before. He was basically explaining how people often think that they fall victim to bad habits because they lack self-control or like because they don't have any discipline. But then he was saying how the people with the best self-control are people who don't have to exercise it in their everyday lives all the time because they don't put themselves in proximity to things that may trigger a bad habit. And like he was saying how it's actually really hard to stick to a positive habit in a negative environment. When I read this perspective, I definitely felt some relief because it's so easy to just think like you lack discipline and to be hard on yourself because like you don't think you have any self-control. But it's all about just like putting yourself in positive environments and like intentionally curating an environment that is conducive to you like instilling good habits into your life. Okay, so the next way is to master the habit of showing up by using 2-minute habits. And basically the aim of having 2-minute habits is to make it as easy as possible and just like basically like develop a habit of just showing up for yourself. And like the only way, and if you think about it, like the only way that you can really improve a habit is by establishing the habit first. So like whatever it is you want to do, like make it a goal. I'm only gonna do this for 2 minutes every single day, and like get in the habit of like just showing up for yourself, like just doing it every day for 2 minutes. So like one way I did this was I wanted to get back into reading books because like when I got to like high school and university, I just like stopped reading books for leisure. I don't know, it just like wasn't a priority. Reading for leisure just like was not a priority at all. But then after I graduated university, I wanted to like get back into reading books, but it was like very difficult for me because I hadn't read in like years. So the way that I picked up reading was basically every single night I was like, okay, I'm gonna read for 10 minutes every night, and I'm gonna just like try to do that every night for 10 minutes. And then eventually I was able to like extend it to like 15 minutes every night and then 20 minutes every night. But just like getting into that habit of showing up for yourself is the most important thing. Even if you're only doing it for 2 minutes and it may seem like not a big deal because it's like, oh, like I only did it for 2 minutes. The whole point of having 2-minute habits is to like master showing up for yourself consistently, because it's way more important to do something consistently versus trying to do something perfectly. Because if you're trying to do like your habit perfectly, it's so easy to just like put it off and procrastinate it because you want it to be perfect, versus like trying to do it consistently, and then after you do it consistently, like now you can like make improvements and try to refine the habit versus like just like putting it off because you want it to be absolutely perfect. So the next way is that after you do your new habit, and if it makes you feel good, mentally document the way that it makes you feel, because then it'll like make you want to do the new habit more. I always try to like mentally document the way that I feel after I finish doing something, just so I can have like some motivation for the next time that I want to do this. So like for example, like if I ever procrastinate something and then like I finally do it and I finish it, I always like try to mentally document the way that I feel after I finish doing something that I procrastinated doing for so long, so that the next time I'm procrastinating, it's like, oh, I remember last time I got this done, I felt really good. So it's like there's no point of procrastinating because I'm gonna feel good after I finish this. Okay, so the final way is to show up even when you're bored. And this is so important because if you think about it, anything that you want to accomplish in life, like, you have to show up no matter what consistently. Like, no matter how you feel, you need to show up. Because can you imagine if like you only ever did something when you felt like it, or like when you felt motivated or inspired? Like, you would never accomplish anything. And in the book, the author brought up a really interesting point, that we think that successful people have some like endless reserve of passion and motivation, but in actuality they experience and they feel the same lack of motivation as everyone else. The only difference is that they show up consistently even if they're bored. And if you want to achieve your dreams and if you want to achieve your goals, you can't just show up when you feel motivated or inspired. You have to show up consistently no matter what. And yeah, this is something, like, consistency is something that I definitely need to do in my everyday life. Like, even with my YouTube channel, I want to be posting videos way more consistently because that's the only way that I can achieve what I want to achieve. But yeah, thank you for watching this video. If you are still watching, thank you so much. I hope you like this video and I hope you can take something away from this. Bye!